Why guidance feels like collapse. Sometimes guidance doesn't feel like peace. It feels like collapse. And Ibn Arabi says that collapse might be Allah answering you. Most people imagine guidance as something that adds more clarity, more strength, more stability, more confidence. But Ibn Arabi gives a deeper explanation. Sometimes guidance does not add. Sometimes guidance removes. And removal feels like collapse. Let's reason carefully. The ego survives by structure. It builds identities. I am strong. I am right. I am spiritual. I am in control. I know what I'm doing. These identities are not always lies, but they are always limited. And limitation is a veil, because Allah is not contained by your self-image. Now here is the key point. If your identity is built on anything contingent, then it must eventually break. Because contingent things cannot be stable. Your plans can change. Your reputation can fall. Your relationships can shift. Your emotions can collapse. So when Allah guides you, one of the first things that happens is that the false stability is removed. Not as punishment, as unveiling. Because Ibn Arabi says, the heart cannot receive the real while it is full of itself. So the collapse is not the destruction of you. It is the destruction of the claim that you are independent. Now think of it logically. If Allah is the only necessary reality, then everything else depends. So the closer you move toward truth, the more dependence becomes visible. And dependence feels humiliating to the ego. The ego experiences dependence as weakness. But Ibn Arabi says, dependence is not weakness. Dependence is the truth of being a creature. And truth feels like collapse only because illusion felt like stability. Now here is the subtle part. Sometimes Allah guides you by taking away what you were using as a substitute for Him. A relationship, a dream, a plan, a version of yourself. And when it is taken, you feel empty. But emptiness is not failure. Emptiness is capacity, because only an empty cup can be filled. So the collapse is actually a mercy. It breaks the idol. It breaks attachment. It breaks the ego's demand to be in control. And in that brokenness, something new becomes possible. Sincerity. Not the sincerity of performance. The sincerity of helplessness. The sincerity that says, Ya Allah, I don't know anymore. I can't hold myself up. I need you. And Ibn Arabi says, this is the beginning of real guidance. Not when you feel powerful, but when you stop pretending you were ever powerful. So if guidance feels like collapse, do not assume Allah has abandoned you. Sometimes Allah is bringing you out of illusion, out of self-ownership, out of the prison of identity, and into the only true stability that Allah is. And you are held.